In 2014, Microsoft was no longer the future, it was the past. The company that once dominated the tech world was now seen as slow, bureaucratic, and out of touch. Apple had redefined hardware, Google controlled the internet, Amazon owned the cloud, Facebook ruled social media. Microsoft, it was fighting to protect Windows. Investors had lost excitement, developers were leaving, innovation felt trapped inside its own legacy. And when Satya Nadella was announced as the new CEO, many people had one question: could a quiet engineer really save a giant? This is the story of how Satya Nadella didn't just revive Microsoft, he rebuilt its culture, reshaped its strategy, and turned it into one of the most valuable companies in history. Satya Nadella was born in Hyderabad, India. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, he wasn't a celebrity founder. He loved cricket, he loved learning, and he believed leadership was about empowering others. In 1992, he joined Microsoft as a young engineer. Back then, Microsoft was unstoppable. Windows dominated personal computing. The company moved aggressively. It competed ruthlessly. It won. For more than 2 decades, Nadella climbed the ranks quietly. He worked on enterprise software. He worked on cloud infrastructure. He helped build what would later become Microsoft Azure. And while others focused on protecting Windows, Nadella saw something different. He saw the future moving to the cloud. When Steve Ballmer stepped down in 2014, Microsoft faced an identity crisis. It had missed mobile. It was losing developer loyalty. Its internal culture had become competitive and siloed. Departments fought each other instead of competitors. When Nadella became CEO, he didn't announce a revolutionary product. He announced something far more radical: a mindset shift. His first message to employees was simple: from know-it-alls to learn-it-alls. Microsoft didn't need more ego, it needed curiosity, it needed humility, it needed collaboration. That cultural reset was the foundation. Then came the strategic pivot. For decades, Microsoft had prioritized Windows above everything. But Nadella made a controversial decision. Microsoft would become platform agnostic. Office would come to iOS, Office would come to Android. Microsoft would support Linux. The company that once saw open source as an enemy now embraced it. Traditionalists were shocked, but Nadella wasn't protecting the past. He was positioning Microsoft for the future. The real engine of that future was Azure. While Amazon Web Services had an early lead, Nadella doubled down on cloud computing. He invested heavily. He pushed enterprise integration. He built hybrid cloud solutions that appealed to large corporations. Azure became Microsoft's growth engine. Revenue accelerated, margins expanded, investor confidence returned. But Nadella wasn't finished. He understood something deeper. The next technological wave would not be mobile, it would be artificial intelligence. Years before AI became mainstream, Microsoft invested billions into research, infrastructure, and partnerships. Then came the bold move. Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI. It wasn't just an investment, it was integration. AI would be embedded into Office, into Azure, into Windows, into enterprise workflows. When ChatGPT exploded globally, Microsoft wasn't reacting, it was ready. Suddenly, the company once seen as slow was leading the AI revolution alongside the most innovative players in the world. Under Nadella's leadership, Microsoft's market value multiplied dramatically, from under $300 billion in 2014 to well over $2 trillion. But the transformation wasn't just financial, it was cultural. Nadella emphasized empathy, something rarely associated with corporate giants. His leadership was shaped by personal experience, including raising a son with special needs. He spoke openly about understanding others, about listening, about growth. Inside Microsoft, collaboration improved, innovation accelerated, risk-taking returned. And perhaps most importantly, fear decreased. Because Nadella understood something critical about power: you cannot innovate if you're afraid to fail. Instead of forcing dominance, he built alignment. Instead of protecting legacy products, he built ecosystems. Instead of chasing headlines, he focused on long-term positioning. The result: Microsoft didn't just survive, it became central to cloud computing, enterprise software, gaming through Xbox acquisitions, professional networking through LinkedIn, and artificial intelligence infrastructure. Satya Nadella proved that leadership doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks calm, disciplined, strategic. He didn't shout, he didn't posture, he repositioned. The lesson for investors and entrepreneurs is powerful. Great turnarounds rarely begin with flashy announcements. They begin with culture. They begin with clarity. They begin with deciding what you are willing to let go of. Microsoft had to let go of its obsession with Windows-first thinking. It had to let go of internal rivalries. It had to let go of arrogance. And in doing so, it regained relevance. Satya Nadella didn't build Microsoft from scratch. He rebuilt its direction. He turned a defensive giant into an adaptive platform. He transformed a legacy tech company into a future-focused AI powerhouse. And he did it not by being the loudest leader in the room, but by being the most focused. That is the power of strategy. That is the power of culture. That is the power of long-term thinking. And that is how Satya Nadella changed Microsoft and reshaped the future of technology.
If this story gave you a new perspective, hit like and subscribe. On the CEO Stories Hub, we tell the real stories behind the world's most powerful CEOs, the failures, the risks, and the lessons investors care about. The next story is already coming, and it might change how you see another iconic company. See you in the next one.